I was recently listening to a professor, Pastor Ben, who leads the doctoral leadership program for a major Christian university. And he said something that was really interesting. He said, we've got to figure something out, because what we're teaching ministry leaders and ministry students about leadership isn't working anymore. And he's addressing the reality of pastors and leaders falling out, burning out, tired and weary. Marriages are suffering. Their relationships with their children are suffering. They have children who don't want anything to do with ministry or the church or God. And it's just not working. Here's my question. Why do you think so many people struggle with this unquenchable desire to strive for more and more, and it's never enough? Where fundamentally, where does this come from? Because that was my story. That was my story, and reading your books, I mean, this was your own story as well. Can you speak to that for a moment to pastors and leaders who might be able to resonate with that message?
Absolutely. I think, we've spent our lives, in this thing trying to know more
Yeah.
about God. And faith is not something you do to persuade God. I think what you have said about the gospel, and really the true gospel, awakening us, and we're coming alive to it. And Paul says that faith comes by hearing this message. And as we've heard it, faith is coming alive, and faith is not, something we do to persuade God. And we just spend our lives in this thing trying to persuade God, trying to convince God. So that drive in us as leaders, we've got to twist God's arm and persuade God to move and get him convinced about some things that we're convinced of. But when we started hearing the gospel, all of a sudden faith comes alive, because faith isn't a work, faith is a rest, and faith is what happens to us when we realize, are you ready? How persuaded God already is about us.